Yeah, hey coach. Just how would you assess Jalen's play in this last game, and what do you do to kind of keep his confidence up after the last couple weeks?
Well, I think none of us coached or played well enough in the game Saturday, and that starts with me. You know, our ability to execute consistently and take advantage of the opportunities that we were presented. We obviously fell short in those spots, and it's all of us. We're all involved in that. And Jalen's an extremely confident player. You know, I have no concerns about that at all. You know, his preparation creates that confidence for him, and I know he'll get back to work this week, just like the rest of our players will.
Go to the far left, Chase.
Um, on Saturday when y'all were checking plays at the line of scrimmage, instead of Jalen just yelling from the shotgun, we saw him walking straight to both tackles and putting the call right in the ear hole. Was that effective, or were there a lot of communication issues despite that?
Well, in those environments, you don't really have a choice on how you have to communicate relative to the proximity to one another. You know, you have to get that close to be able to talk. And I would say that we had some communication issues. There's no doubt about it, particularly early in the game. I thought as the game went on, our guys settled down and adjusted to the crowd. But that's something that, you know, moving forward, we'll have to be cleaner and better when we get back into those environments.
Second row in the middle. Let's go to Matt. Coming your way, Matt.
How much of the run game struggles on Saturday were like y'all sort of self-inflicted, or was it something Tennessee was doing?
Well, I mean, I want to give credit to our opponent, you know, on some of the things that they did, but I thought there were some execution issues by all parties, whether it was decision making in read plays, whether it was simple fundamentals or technique. I thought there were some effective runs in the game where guys did a nice job and we were headed up correctly, and the runners did a nice job of running hard and physical, but it wasn't consistent enough, and certainly that starts with me, you know, and our ability to put them in the best positions to be successful and ask them to do the things that they can do well. And there's lots of those things, and we just got to make sure that we tighten that up and do better, you know, because I do think this is a group that can run the ball effectively, and we got to make sure that we improve in that area and give them enough shots at it to show what they're capable of. And so we're looking at that first as a staff, and then certainly, you know, identifying the things that we need to improve on, you know, because that's an area where I think we can do a lot better than what we've done. And I know we have the players to do it. I know we have the scheme to do it. I know we have the staff to do it. And so that certainly will be a point of emphasis for us this week for sure.
Second row on the left, Katie.
The defense forced 3 turnovers on Saturday, and then y'all weren't able to score after any of them. Just kind of what was maybe the teaching point of that, of being able to take advantage of those opportunities the defense sets up for you?
Just that, you know, that you have to take advantage of those opportunities in those games against the teams that you're playing against, you know, and credit our defense for doing that. And to this point, you know, in the games where we've played the best collectively as a team, we've done that. You know, our defense has created turnovers, and we've been able to, you know, put points on the board off of those. And unfortunately for us this past week, we didn't do that. And that was disappointing because I certainly felt like there were opportunities in the game for us to capitalize on those, and we didn't do it. And so, you know, it goes back to execution, you know, the calls that you make. You know, obviously, you know, you always reflect on that and what you could have done different. But certainly that was a factor in the game, and that was disappointing. We weren't able to capitalize in those moments.
Right next to Katie, Tony.
We talk about the struggles and the inconsistencies in the running game. How much does that influence your play calling when you get in the red zone in the shorter field?
I guess you're always trying to make decisions that you feel help your team win, you know, and that's a moving target as the game is progressing. You know, I think some of the things that occurred in the game on Saturday, particularly early in the game, is when we were getting behind the chains in second and long situations or third and long. You know, we were in a lot of those in the game. That makes it harder to, you know, be committed to running the ball when you're at second and long situations. And so, you know, you're just always trying to identify what's going on in the game. You know, how are our players seeing it? What is the opponent trying to do, and how can we best attack them based on what the situation that, you know, occurs. But certainly controlling the line of scrimmage and running the football, you know, particularly when you're on the road, is important. And, you know, like I said, we have the players to do it, and we have the staff to do it, and we have the schemes to do it. And so that'll certainly be an emphasis for us moving forward.
Being on the left side, front row, Colin.
Hey, Nick, after the game Saturday, it seemed like Jalen Milroe, you know, consistently, he's like took responsibility for the offensive struggles just over and over. I'm curious, like, what is your message to him post game to make sure he, the weight isn't, impactful of, the responsibility of that weight, like, isn't impactful for weeks to come, and like that he, moves on, and in terms of being a leader and kind of the continuation of what you guys want to do offensively, and that he doesn't.
Well, yeah, I think Jalen's made some incredible plays for us this year. I don't think there's any doubt about it, and certainly, some of the success that we've had offensively, he's been right at the forefront of it, and so he knows that, and certainly, when you come up short, there's always plays that you would like back. There's always moments, coaches and players, and that's just not the quarterback. That's everybody, and so. That's part of competition. We know we can play better. We have to play better. We have to coach better, and so I think everybody, that competes at a high level understands what that looks like and how to respond and how to, get up off the mat and get back to work and get prepared and ready to go play in the next, game. And so that's no different for coaches, players, everybody. When you fall short and you don't do as well as you'd like and is what you expect to and what the standard is, you got to get up off the ground and keep swinging and keep working and have confidence in what you've done. I think that's the biggest message to the guys is that we have seen it. It's not like this is something you're chasing that you haven't done or shown. And so that's the message, not just to Jalen, but to the rest of the group is let's get back to playing the type of football we know we're capable of playing. And, that's our task this week.
Stay in the front row here, Jack.
Hey, Nick, Coach Kane obviously has a lot of familiarity with Corey Batoon over at Missouri. Has he kind of talked with you about what they can do and just what have you noticed in general from their defense on film?
Yeah, certainly, any type of crossover experiences or relationships that you have amongst staff, you always have questions. I would say what great coaches and Coach Batoon is the same is, you try to adjust what you do based on the personnel that you have. And so there's always core fundamentals and principles that, both Kane and Coach, Batoon share, but each group's a little bit different. Each year's a little bit different. And, I think the way that they play, I think the effort, the toughness, the physicality, the disruption of the football, I think those are the things that you see aside from maybe some similarities schematically, because I think great coaches like the ones we're going against this week, they just adjust to who they have and what their players do best. And so year to year that may look different, but I think the style of play and how they play, those are the things that show up, both with, Coach Womack and Coach Batoon.
All right, time for 3 more questions, starting on back row on the left.
Moving forward, how do you plan to incorporate veteran receivers like Kendrick Law and Kobe Prentice when playing seasoned defenses?
Well, we're always looking at utilizing all of the personnel that we have and how we can best put our players in a position to be successful. That's for every position, who can give us the best chance to win, who practices the best. I think both those guys are really talented players, and I know they're going to have big moments for us here down the stretch. And so, I think not just those two in particular, but all the guys. We need everybody, to continue to progress, continue to learn, continue to grow, so that we can utilize them all, here down the stretch.
Go to Mike, and then we'll finish the podium.
On Jalen's 4th down sneak towards the end of the first half, the TV broadcast showed Ryan and Jeremy pretending to shoot a basketball on the outside of the field. Is that part of the design of the play or just something spontaneous?
Yeah, you're talking about the quarterback sneak. Yeah, there's nothing on the field that we're not coaching. So that's how I answer that.
All right, we'll finish up with Cody. Second row here.
The last few weeks, Milrow's been hasn't been nearly as effective as a runner. I know you've talked about execution, but what have opposing defenses kind of done to limit his effectiveness in that way?
I think that, there were some effective runs. There's obviously some read elements of some of those runs, where we need to make sure we make the right reads all the time. I think the negative yardage plays and going backwards, that's really what's hurt us, as far as the production in that standpoint. And some of that has been in the past game. And so just eliminating those, I think, will help us obviously stay ahead of the change, give more at-bats as far as just opportunities for that. And you're trying to find new ways and creative ways for all your players. Obviously you get this far into the season, there's certain things that you have tendencies on, there's certain schemes or sets that you've run plays at before, and you're trying to counter that with other types of schemes. So, I think we got to eliminate the negative plays. We got to you know, that would be the biggest thing that I would say is, you know, when we have negative yardage plays, you know, it's hard for anybody to overcome that, and so that certainly skews some of the stats that way, and that's what we'll be focusing on.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
thanks.